I pledge to honor our age-old Indian culture and live according to it.
This is the correct length. Uniforms to your knees.
The seeds were from a place of anger and rebellion. I went to a school that is much like the school in the film.
Hi all, it's Sailesh Ram, AsianCultureVulture.com. We're in London and we're talking about the film Girls Will Be Girls, which will be coming out shortly. Shuchi, tell me about the seeds of this film. Where did it come from? You wrote the story, so what was the inspiration?
The seeds were from a place of anger and rebellion. I went to a school that is much like the school in the film, which is really like a lot of Indian schools. I didn't go to a boarding school, but I went to a school that was very, very strict, that forbade like any kind of dating. I mean, dating was so far out. Even talking too much to a boy could get you into trouble. And as soon as I became a teenager, there was all this policing of like girls' bodies and sexuality. Be like your skirt is too short, your top is too tight.
Be careful with boys. Don't talk to them more than necessary.
And so I was writing, I wanted to write a story of girls' like first romance, first sexual awakening, but which reflected this world, but where the storytelling did not shame her. The storytelling really treats it as something mundane, normal, part of growing up. So yeah, I think that I would say that's the genesis.
And then how did you come to be involved, Preeti? Was it a normal audition process?
It was a normal audition process. It was an open call, and one of my friends was interning with the casting director, Dilip Shankar sir. So she texted me and she said that, you know what, there is this audition that's happening. They're looking for an 18-year-old girl, and they had these questions like, was I a studious girl in school? And I was like, yeah, I am that person. So I sent them an introduction. They liked it, and that's where things like hit off. And I met her in Bombay. We had a couple of chemistry tests, and that's how it all began.
Did you have a very particular girl in mind and she fitted the idea you had in your head?
Yeah, yes and no. So on the one hand, when I'm casting, I try to leave, I don't really have a picture of the character. Like I really try to hold it loosely. So if, she turns out to be very tall or something, it's fine. I really, what I'm looking for, but the picture I do have is of the psychology of this character, the essence of this character. Mm-hmm. And so that I knew very clearly. And when she tells it, it seems like it's very easy that we found her, but we found her after months of casting. So in the early months, we did not find our Mira. And India is a big country, and there's lots of young actors, and so you know that she's out there, but you pray that you will find her on your timeline. So by the time we got to her, we had auditioned a lot of actors, and the audition scene. So after the first introduction, where we told them to tell us about their school life, the audition scene was when Mira flirts with her love interest Shri for the first time on this rooftop under the stars, and it's their first real conversation. And a lot of the actresses would play it very coy. They would bat their eyelids and just not right. And this one, from her first audition, she was very strong. A friend of mine described her as a fist. She's like, and she had this dignity where she was the head prefect. Even when she likes this boy, yes, she's interested, but she will not debase herself. She will not bat her eyelids. And I thought, this is Mira.
What I liked about the film was that she's very much in control. She's kind of dictating the pace of this romance, which is quite unusual, I think.
Yeah, and that was very important to me, to write a young girl who has a lot of agency, and really every step of the way she decides what she wants, how she wants it, and that, sometimes you probably know that in Indian cinema, if there is a female character who explores sexuality, the storytelling punishes them. Something terrible happens to them. Or are. If they are more like flirty, sexy, they have to put on their salwar kurta or their sari and, you know, become all religious and very like basically shed their sexuality in order to become the good girl who's marriageable. And I did not want to do that. I was like, here's a good girl character who we love, who has all the complexity of a human being.
Is that at the heart of the film, trying to navigate the sexual tropes and the messaging that we all absorb when we're in India or from Indian culture?
I'm trying to very much tell a story about Meera, who's this idiosyncratic character, and her very unusual mother, and not make some grand statement about the patriarchy or the representation of women, but of course that underlies the storytelling.
So how difficult or easy did you find the intimate scene, the physical scenes difficult? I mean, was that a barrier you had to cross, or were you prepared from the outset?
I was prepared, and it was very, very easy to do. I think the most fun bits of of course, the entire shoot was fun, but like the intimacy part was even more safe and fun because we had a closed set, and there used to be more as many women as possible. So like, there's a boom operator who's a woman, there's a person behind the camera who's a woman. So it's just a wonderful experience, and all the fear and all the apprehensions that I had been dealt with very carefully by Shuchi and her team, and all my nervousness before getting in front of the camera had gone. So the first day of shoot, I think the first day of shoot was something, the part where Meera is in the washroom and she's kissing her hand, and it was supposed to be a very intimate moment with the character, but I did not feel anything, any nervousness. I was just feeling cold because it was a very cold weather. So yeah, it was a fun experience. Yeah.
So tell me about the mother-daughter relationship. That's really central to the whole film, and how the mother character, she's very conflicted herself, I think.
She's 39, she has a 16-year-old daughter, and she is interesting because she's trying to give her daughter more freedoms than she had. So, when she finds out her daughter has a boyfriend, instead of being like, no, she said, don't hide things from me. I want to meet this boy. And he can come home to study.
Keep the dog.
Mendel's first law of inheritance
is the law of dominance.
Correct.
And she takes her shopping, and if she wants to buy a little short skirt, her mom will help her. So she's trying to do good by her daughter. And at the same time, I think she feels envious because her daughter has the freedoms that she didn't have. I think there's a sadness for her own youth that is sort of lost because she became a mom so quickly, and she's sort of relegated to the supporting role that we often put mothers in, where she's basically supporting her husband and her daughter, and she's supposed to have no desire of her own. So this mom character became so central, and I feel like takes the film out of the normal coming of age, because it's, in a way, it's a dual coming of age for the mother and the daughter, because they're both women who are trying to do something that's forbidden. They're trying to they're trying to color outside the lines and do something that society doesn't allow them, and through this also find a kind of allyship and understanding of each other.
Okay, talk about the male character, the love interest. How does Meera see
It's Sri that was that he was bringing something which Meera did not have, which was like this international experience and being brought up in different countries. So I felt like Meera just like got right into it, that I'll play with dignity, but this person is bringing something into my life which I don't really have. And it wasn't really the international aspect of Shri that she was looking for, but I think the entire journey of sexual awakening that she had with Shri was something very, I would say it was a rewarding experience for me.
He becomes like a safe space in a way to explore her sexuality, something that would be so taboo with even her best friend or her favorite teacher or the other kids at school. But he's actually quite tender with her in these moments and creates this space. And yet he's a complicated character who you understand that loves, is used to female attention, likes it, gets it both from the mother and the daughter, and kind of plays that game in a way that makes you feel like it's a bit dodgy sometimes. You know, people are so complicated. There's rarely a moment where you just have one intention. So I think the mother wants to protect her daughter. The mother wants to give her daughter more freedoms. The mother wants a little bit of fun. And so if the boy gives her attention, she enjoys that too. So, and similarly for him, like, you know, he cares about Mira. He enjoys the mom's attention. He also has parents who seem quite absent. So this is a home where he's cared for, unlike his own home. So with every character here, I do think that there's sometimes a multiplicity of things that are happening, which, like, I as a filmmaker, I try not to simplify, because humans are not so simple.
Is this the subject you will return to, or is it something you want to do something completely different next?
I don't know. I think I am not done telling stories about women, so I think that will continue. I think I'm also not done telling stories about sexuality. I think it's just something that we don't see on scene, and we don't see it with, like, nuance. We don't see a sexual exchange which is, like, rendered as an emotional exchange, because people can be unkind during sex, they can express anger, they can feel afraid, vulnerable, all kinds of things can happen. And I think I'm interested in that emotional exchange. So I think those things will recur, but I want to try telling stories in a totally different setting. You know.
Thank you so much. All the best.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you so much.